Welcome to Joa Fitness Health Wellness Video Podcast, a space to ignite your day through positive conversations. We bring people that have created excellence in their life, sharing high vibration in their reawakening path.
Hello everyone. Happy Friday. And every Friday I invite a new guest from all over the world. My name is Joa Rivas and I welcome you to the Joa Fitness Podcast. I've been running the podcast for 3 years and it's all related about posture. And today here from Toronto, I'm welcoming Aman Bancil. He's actually an osteopath that was helping me a lot when I was living in Singapore. In 2017 and 2016, I lived in Singapore, and he was my go helper when I had all these issues with my wrist and my hip. He was always there helping me. So I remember how he helped me with the tendonitis and many other issues that I got through the 2 years that I lived in Singapore. So how are you, Aman? How is Singapore now?
Good, it's good. It's been raining a lot, but can't complain. You know, constant summer, so.
Oh yes, it's raining, but it's a hot season all the time there. Yeah, we are happy here is summer, and it's going to be moving into autumn, into fall very soon. So we're just like catching the last sun rays before it starts getting cold over here. So I am a yoga teacher for those that are listening in the moment. I'm actually a Pilates and a yoga instructor for the past 11 years. And I had scoliosis, and this podcast is for those people that are complaining with back pain, neck pain. And today we're actually dedicating the podcast to the feet, which are actually very important for our spine. We talk about how to choose shoes, how to select shoes, and how to move from a conventional shoe to a minimalist shoe. And that was with a doctor from Australia. And in this podcast, particularly with the Osteopath Aman, we're going to be chatting about plantar fasciitis. Let's just talk a little bit about Aman. Like Aman, actually, he is from London. He is an osteopath doctor, and he lives now in Singapore. He does his practice from Singapore. He loves MMA, and he works a lot with the kickboxing and all this big discipline in Singapore. Tell me a little bit more about you, Aman. How is the situation in terms of your practice in the moment? Is it a limited time? Like anything that is affecting with the changes in the world?
Not terrible. I can't complain compared to the rest of the world. I mean, you know, last year when COVID first happened, we had to close down for about 6 weeks. But since then, there's been a few lockdowns in Singapore, but healthcare has been able to stay open. So, and then no one's traveling, so people have time to take care of issues they've wanted to. You know, there's kind of busy execs who travel a lot all the time, they don't really pay attention to their body so much. They just let injuries linger a long time. A lot of them are like, okay, let's just finally get this sorted. So it's okay, can't complain, yeah.
What about the sedentarism? Have you noticed like people having more issues since they're not moving as much as before?
Yeah, for sure. Like neck, low back pain, we generally see a lot of that anyway, but a big spike from people working from home, like terrible setups on the dining room chair, on their table, and then you're just not moving generally. You know, you maybe going to the kitchen or the bathroom, obviously, but you know, even when you're at work, even if you're not exercising, if you're in the office, you're going for a coffee, you're going for lunch, so you're generally moving much more. So definitely a big spike in that. Plus knee injuries, because everyone took up running or cycling or golf, but a lot of people took up running. So people who've never run before wanted something to do, and then they're getting some sort of lower limb issues. So generally a lot of patella knee issues.
Okay. Yeah. So this is something that you see often in your clinic now, more like a knee injuries. And what about?
We see everything, but just a slight spike, I'd say, or a little bit more common in that way. But you know, now that was definitely last year when we first had a kind of big lockdown. But recently everyone's kind of adapted. So when there is a lockdown, it's like they have their home set up in the gym, like a gym at home, or, you know, with gym equipment rather. So that kind of stuff. So it's not as bad, but yeah, definitely a thing. I mean, I'm recommending a lot of ergonomic stuff.
Yes, exactly. Especially for the office, right?
I mean, a lot of people won't. Yeah, office. Yeah, well, they won't. They thought they're not going to buy expensive because it's a bit expensive to buy it at home because, this just might be a 2-month, 3-month thing at the beginning, and then now it's like 2 years.
Exactly. Right.
So, yeah.
And moving back into plantar fasciitis, plantar fasciitis is actually a disorder on the plantar fascia, basically all the connective tissue in the arch of our foot. And I wanted to talk a little bit about this because I do get clients. I'm also a personal trainer, so I see some clients that have some particular goals, and it's really hard to actually move when you have plantar fasciitis. So from your perspective as a naturopath and also an osteopath doctor, what do you think would be the number one cause of the plantar fasciitis? And if you actually notice that there's still some plantar fasciitis issues now and the people are ignoring it?
So it's an interesting topic because it's definitely not like a one cause type of thing. So mechanically, the plantar fascia inserts into the heel, right? So typically, first few steps in the morning, very classic for people to be having pain at that point. Once they're kind of warmed up and warmed through it, not as bad. But attach it to the heel, that blends into the Achilles tendon, which then becomes your calf. So first place you're kind of looking is calf, and it might be as simple as that. Might just be the calf is tight for whatever reason, and it's pulling on the plantar fascia. But often it's not that simple. So you really it depends on the individual's mechanics, really. So the gait mechanics, hip strength is a massive one, very common one I see. So let's put it this way. Someone comes in, I'll first kind of assess their lower limb, see if there's any hip issues going on, probably work on the calf, give them some calf stuff initially. If that's not really responding, then we'll start kind of chipping away at hip.
Okay, right.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
So is there a particular group of people who can get this disorder on the foot? They say like the people that are working standing, people that they have no arch, perhaps.
Yeah, so that's not having an arch is an issue. It's not really an issue if shoes were not a thing. So when you're barefoot, even if you have flat feet, it's not really a bad thing. Usain Bolt has flat feet. If you have use of the intricate muscles of your feet, which you would do more minimalistic footwear, you will develop the muscles in your arch and your lower limb, the stabilizers a bit more. If you don't and you rely on a shoe and you're just like plunking along on the floor and you don't really care what's happening with your feet, then flat feet become an issue because it's weak, right? So your arch, the plantar fascia goes from your big toe to your heel, so if you imagine the arch is like that, plantar fascia is going like that. A flat foot person will be a bit more like that. And the plantar fascia should go through a natural spring like that when you're walking. And if it's just constantly being stretched, then that's where it gets inflamed. So yeah, the reason I talk about the hip a lot is quite often people will have a weak glute stabilizers, so glute medius, adductors maybe, and it causes the femur to rotate inwards. I'm just going to quickly show you.
Yeah, okay, sure. Let's see some of the...
Just quick description first. So when the femur rotates internally, that movement goes in turn with your foot going into pronation. So I'll show you real quick. Maybe just move my camera here or something. So yeah, if you can see my feet. So if we look at my right foot, if I was to drop my arch inwards like that, my hip has to rotate inwards with it. You can't do that movement independently. So when someone has a really weak glute medius and stuff through here, you'll see when they lunge, they'll do this. Or when they squat, they'll squat like that. On a more extreme example.
Caving. They cave the knees.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really the femurs going in. Okay. Hips weak, and then that's creating this pronation in the foot, which is then stretching the plantar fascia. So in that kind of case, which is pretty common, just working on the calves it's not really going to get down to the root cause of the problem.
Okay.
So
it seems like it's very complex. The root, it could be because the lack of the arch on the foot, but it also could be actually coming all the way up from the femur and having those probably abductors. They're kind of like weaker abductors. And then
people, because you see it in a lot of people nowadays, because ultimately that glute medius is your main hip stabilizer on a single leg. So when you're standing on one leg, it's really what stabilizes the hip. And everyone, well, most people, especially classic bodybuilding type, nothing wrong with it at all, but you're rarely doing single leg Romanian deadlift, single leg squats, or you have the odd thing there. So anyway, so you do.
Oh yes, okay. So I guess the shoes also will impact the position of the feet when you're walking. So definitely, if you are curious about what are minimalist shoes, I will invite you to come back into the last 4 episodes. We're actually talking all about minimalist shoes and how to select the ones for running, the ones for lifting, and how good it is to be barefoot. To be honest, like barefoot is one of the best practices that we can start adding into our daily routine. Even training barefoot, as probably most of the MMA guys, they're always training barefoot. Like if they're doing jiu-jitsu barefoot, so it's one of the healthiest one. What do you recommend for those people that having plantar fasciitis and they've been trying everything, they've been trying all these methods, but nothing works? Anything in particular that you notice that actually is like it really achieved the entire solution for this?
I would really just find someone who will look at the body a bit more kind of holistically in that way, because chances are if you've gone to a physio or someone, again, first thing they're going to look at calf. If you Google it, you're going to get like, first thing to look at is stretch your calf out and stuff. If you're not getting results with that, shockwave therapy is pretty popular. That can get some good results. If you go down that doctor route, they will probably prescribe maybe a steroid injection if things are really bad. But again, like you're not even with shockwave, like coming back to the hip example, if that foot's overpronating because of the hip, you're just kind of treating the symptoms by shockwave or injection. You're not, it will come back at some point. You're not really treating the cause. So I would say, work on your calf for sure. Maybe work on the actual plantar fascia itself. So you could put a towel on the floor and just kind of like grab it with your toes. So you're kind of just working the arch a little bit. And then I would add in single leg squats on a chair, single leg Romanian deadlifts, just for good measure for the glute medius. That's probably a good start.
Okay, so let's summarize before we finish our first chat together. Are there any exercise you can advise for people to do at home?
Me at home, yeah. So just get on the edge of a step. So eccentric calf raise. So basically stand at the edge of a step, just lower down slowly till you get a good stretch, and then push up. Lower down 4 or 5 seconds, push up. That'll be good for your calf, strengthening and lengthening. Just to get a muscle called your tibialis posterior, which is just on the inside of your calf, you can grip a tennis ball between your heels, and then you can do calf raises. So it forces you to kind of invert the foot and recruit that muscle. And then a single leg squat on a chair. It doesn't have to be that difficult. You can just simply just up and down like that. As long as you don't have any knee issues. Single leg Romanian deadlifts, I would work that. Just come up. Try and do 10 reps without losing balance. Those are good places to start, I would say.
And the timing is better in the morning or in the evening before sleep or when you wake up?
Probably, it doesn't really matter, but probably evening, because when you wake up in the morning, you're like, usually plantar fascia is pretty sore. So yeah, and it depends if you're a runner. The reason single leg stuff is important, because when you run, you're on one leg 100% of the time. There's no point where both your feet touch the floor, so it's so important.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Aman. Aman the Osteopath. That's how you can find him on Instagram. If you want to follow his work, he has tons of videos with all the practitioners and professionals that work for the Edge Healthcare on Singapore. So if you want to follow him, I'm going to add right here the Instagram account is Aman that Osteopath. So Aman the Osteopath. And also his account for the clinic center is Edge Healthcare SG. That's exactly the Instagram where you can actually not only find Aman, you can also find Dr. Mirpuri, which is a naturopath doctor, also someone that I work with. So thank you so much, Aman. Have a beautiful evening over there in Singapore. For us, we just starting the day. It's just 8:20 in the morning. For you, it's the end. But thank you so much for taking your time and sharing this information. If you guys love this, please leave comments, share with your friends. And I really hope your plantar fasciitis goes away if you still have it. Go to a professional can help you to give you a method and give you some of these exercises to practice at home. And remember that together we are stronger. Thank you, Aman.
All right, thank you. Have a great day.
We invite you to subscribe to this channel and share with your community. Please leave comments below, and if you like the episode, click the like button. Have a beautiful day.